Here I have an example of a conditional statement that we're going to translate into symbolic form and then take a look at its um, converse, inverse, and contrapositive. Okay, so let's first get this thing translated. It says, if you don't get to bed early, then you will be tired tomorrow. Okay, now when we break this down, we're going to break it down into its simplest form. Symbolically, the antecedent is a negation, right? Because it has the word don't or do not. And so I'm going to keep when I break this down into the symbols, I'm going to keep the positive part, the positive version of that. So it'll be P is you get to bed early. And Q is going to be you will be tired tomorrow. All right, so these are our two simple statements that go into my conditional statement. Now, symbolically, the conditional, actually, let's write it up over here. The conditional would be not, if not P, then Q. Right, so if not P, then Q. If you don't get to bed early, then you will be tired tomorrow. Okay? All right, so that's a conditional statement. Now we're going to convert that into its converse, into its inverse, and into its contrapositive. Okay? So to do these conversions, the first one, the converse, is simply switching the two statements around. Okay, so the converse of something is just doing the if then in reverse order. So it'd be Q, if Q, then not P. All right, so switching them around is the converse. The inverse, keeping them in the same order but negating them both. All right, or reversing the negative. So in the first case here, if you negate the not P, it becomes P, right? We've seen how the double negation is the same as the original statement. So we'd say P, if P, then not Q. So that's the negation of both statements. And then finally, the contrapositive is where you do both. You switch them and negate both of them. All right, so that would be like not Q, or if not Q, then P. All right, that would be negating both and switching the order. All right, so now let's look at, let's call this statement 1, statement 2, statement 3, and statement 4, just so we can keep track of things here and I don't have to keep writing down converse, inverse, so forth. We already have statement 1 listed, that's our original. So statement 2, the converse, let's go ahead and retranslate this so that we can see its meaning. So statement number 2, we would say, if you'll be tired tomorrow, then you did not go to bed early. So if you are, or no, if you will be tired tomorrow, yeah. Should write that way. Then, not P, you did not get to bed early. Okay, So if you'll be tired tomorrow, then you did not get to bed early. That would be the converse. Yeah. Okay. Number 3. The inverse. That is where you negate both parts. So we'd say, if you get to bed early, then you will not be tired tomorrow. So if you get to bed early, then if you get to bed early, then you will not be tired tomorrow, right? Not be tired tomorrow. All right, so that would be the inverse when you negate both statements, but leave them in the same order. Okay, and then finally, the contrapositive is both switching the order and negating each one. So we would say, if you will not be tired tomorrow, then you got to bed early. So if you will not be tired tomorrow, then you got to bed early. Okay, so these are the 3 translations then of the converse, inverse, and contrapositive. Remember that the conditional and the contrapositive, I should write it this way. The conditional and the contrapositive are equivalent, right? So statement number 1 is equivalent to statement number 4, which just means whenever one of those is true, the other one is true. Whenever one is false, the other is automatically false. Okay, and also statement 2, the converse, is equivalent to statement 3, the inverse. Okay, and so whenever one of those is true, the other one is true. Whenever one is false, the other one is false. Okay, so their truth table columns are exactly the same. What's interesting is that you don't always get 1 and 2, 1 and 3, 4 and 2, and 4 and 3 to match up. Okay, those are not equivalent statements. We would say that 1 is not equivalent to 2, 1 is not equivalent to 3, and 4 also not equivalent to 2, and 4 is also not equivalent to 3. Okay, so these are, so we can't relate between them necessarily. Now, it could be the case that a statement and its converse are both true. Okay, in a truth table, that isn't necessarily going to happen, a conditional and its converse, but in reality it may happen. And so it could be the case that if you are a bachelor, then you are an unmarried male. If you are an unmarried male, then you are a bachelor. Those sorts of things, usually definition type things, are going to be they're going to be true in both cases, both the conditional and the reverse, the converse. And so if that's the case, then you have a biconditional statement, not just a conditional statement. So biconditional exists when both are true, the converse and the conditional. And then as a result, the inverse and the contrapositive will also be true. Okay, so biconditionals, all 4 of these will be true at the same time.